Well done, hard-earned point. Kieran, how did you see it in the end?
Yeah, we knew it was always going to be difficult coming to Crystal Palace, but I think maybe it's a missed opportunity for the 3 points because we created chance after chance. They had a great chance as well, which Popey made an unbelievable save, but I thought we deserved the 3 points today, but it's a good point, coming away to this place. It's always difficult.
Would you go along with that? Because there were clear chances, particularly the first half.
Yeah, like Kieran said, it's not an easy place to come, but yeah, we've got to back ourselves to take some chances. You can be happy with 3/4 of the pitch, but it's the opposition box where we should make it count, and that's the difference today.
Overall, you had a fairly quiet evening, but tell us about that save from Ateta in the second half.
Yeah, obviously it's a ball up to the front. Didn't see much of it, but yeah, luckily got something on it and got it over. So yeah, pleased with that one.
It was pure reflexes because there were bodies in the way of the shot.
Yeah, I think so. That's what you train for. You don't have loads of moments in the game. Sometimes the goalkeeper, so you train for them. Them split-second moments, and yeah, like I say, happy to get something on it.
Kieran, the upside is it's another clean sheet, and that's 6 in a row now.
Yeah, we worked really hard on the training pitch, and yeah, if you don't concede, you always got a great chance of winning the game. But it starts from the front. We defend well as a team, and when you got someone like Popey behind us as well, he's making vital saves like that. He's done it all season, and it's a joy to have him on our team.
You've had such a settled backline as well, haven't you? What part do you feel that's played?
Massive, because we took huge steps in a short period of time. Because this time last year we was fighting relegation. So we've shown great steps as a team. Not just 11 that are playing. Everybody has made a huge impact. So long may that continue.
15 Premier League games unbeaten. That's a new club record. Got to be something to be proud of, surely.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, we're disappointed with today, but when we look back of how the first half of the season's gone, it's something that we are proud of, and we've got to work to protect now. I think it's important. Games like today, we've got to have the mentality to win the game and feel the disappointment when we don't. So I think that's something that we can carry forward with us.
Is it not a mark of how much you've come on as a team that a result like this coming here is a disappointment?
Yeah, of course, but we have to be hungry. We have to have that desire to keep pushing ourselves. So that's something that will be important for us moving forward.
And Kieran, the games come thick and fast. You've got a major semi-final coming up. That's one to look forward to.
It is, yeah, and like I said before, we took huge steps, and we've all got to be proud of how we played this season, but we haven't achieved anything yet. So it's a big game. Southampton are a top side, so yeah, we've got to go to that game with that winning mentality to win. But yeah, we're proud how the first half of the season's gone, but yeah, we've got a long way to go yet.
Guys, well done today. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you.
On November the 6th it was when Romain Perraud scored for Southampton against Newcastle, and they haven't conceded a goal since then. Over 9 hours of Premier League football without being beaten, Nick Pope, which is extraordinary. And as you heard as well, club record unbeaten, 15 games in the top division. Are we being a bit harsh then?
That's why I was trying to say, if you go over the whole picture, this has been a positive this season to break the club record of games unbeaten, clean sheets. Yes, the game was there for the taking, but you're going to have frustrating days like this. I think Crystal Palace do deserve a bit of respect. And like you said, now Newcastle have got a massive game coming up in the semi-final, and hopefully they can make it into the final as well. If you take the way the season finished last season and the way the season started this season, teams are going blow for blow with Newcastle. The hardest thing you can play against as a team is a low block.
Yeah, of course.
Man City
but if you want to be in the top four,
exactly.
If you want to be in, you have to be able to break them down.
They've got special players. These top teams have a special player in a low block that can make the difference. They can go by 2 players.
Well, what about Alan Saint-Maximin? Is he not that?
But as he's out of favour, you can say he's nowhere near the player he was from last season. Maybe that's a confidence thing. They need to get him firing to make the difference in that final third against teams like that, or when January we've still got a few days to go.
The worry for Newcastle is that Almiron is their top scorer.
He's got 9 goals, but he hasn't scored in any of his last 5 appearances.
Here you go. And
so the question then is has he been on a confidence run, and is that confidence now starting to erode?
He's playing on the wing. He's getting goals. At that period, he was hot. But normally, you would expect that your striker gets goals. you know, on a regular basis. But also your defenders getting goals from set pieces, and even that is the problem at the moment.
Almiron's goals, he's using his pace to get in behind. There's now no space to get in behind. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So this is where this is a new challenge. This is a new challenge for Eddie Howe, that teams are respecting us now. We have to find a way to beat these low blocks, because it is one of the hardest things to do in football.
Jimmy said that Callum Wilson is having a difficult time. He hasn't scored since October. We've talked about Almiron. Chris Wood has departed. Do you think it's staring Newcastle in the face that they need to bring some more help to the top of the pitch?
I think so, but I think you have to trust the process. I think if you look, when the ownership came into place, I thought they were going to be like Chelsea, buying this player, buying this player. Their recruitment has been fantastic. Trippier, Botman, we can go through a thing. So they will wait for the right player that will fit their identity as a team. But hopefully it is before January, because they do need, like I said, I think they need creative players in the final third now.
Does Isak need more minutes?
Yeah, he's had his injury. I think he scored 3 goals in 7, which isn't the worst. We were saying when he came on, he looked sharp. Yeah. He was doing movements that Callum Wilson couldn't do. So hopefully, if he can stay fit, he could be the answer.
But it's an extraordinary run of clean sheets. Club record 6 in a row now, thanks to the goalkeeper.
How strong the right hand is.
How strong that right hand. And chapeau, really, yeah, really good save. This is not easy. Goalkeeping is the mental side. You have to stay concentrated, and he did. And well done.
Me and Jimmy were saying,
that's why it's the top of this graphic.
Nick Poper's a strange one, because if he was just a little bit better with his feet, I think he'd be England's number 1. But you know how everyone craves possession. I think when Pep came in and he got rid of England's number 1 in Joe Hart, you go, well, isn't it about keeping the ball out of the back of the net? And he's the best at it, but for some reason...
Isn't there still time to learn that? You know, if you were him, and you've heard people talking about that for the last 3 or 4 seasons, would you not be working on that on a daily basis?
Yeah, you can work on it, but you have to be playing in those teams that are ball possession, you know, and you have to day in, day out doing that. With all due respect to Burnley, Burnley was not that team. He's gone to Newcastle, and Newcastle are also not really obsessed with playing out from the back like all the others are. So his working with that is limited. You know, can he improve on that? Yes. But the most important thing that he has is keeping clean sheets. And that is where he's getting his bread and butter.
You talked about astute signings, Kieran, and we see big figures thrown at the likes of Isak and Sven Botman. But could he actually be one of the most important signings for Newcastle?
Definite. I think if you were to say who is Newcastle's best signing, I think they've all got a strong case. That is how good their recruitment is. Trippier got man in the match today. What a signing. Botman. I've never even heard of Botman. He looks like he could play in the top 4. Like, no disrespect to Newcastle, because they are in the top 4, but I'm talking he could go on to bigger and better things with clubs with pedigree and history.
For me, I obviously I knew Botman because he's been at Ajax and stuff. But for me, it's more the Dan Burn, you know, that didn't play at Brighton and is playing at Newcastle. With all due respect to Brighton, Newcastle is a bigger club with more stress on the players, and he's playing out of his skin. You know, Trippier, yeah,
Bruno.
Okay, Bruno, they got from nowhere.
Every signing they've made, you know,
they've made some big signings. Joe Linton, who was playing as a striker, he's taken him away from that position and put him in a different position that can give more to the team.
He never stops running, does he?
He never stops running. He's not going to score a goal, but he never stops running.
It's not just about the signings with Eddie. Look what he's done with Almer, and look what he's done with Shah. Look what he's done with Longstaff. He's just give everyone an unbelievable lift. Yeah. The only player who's probably not benefited from Eddie Howe is Sir Maximin.
We'll see what happens with that one in the coming days, weeks and months. Let's bring you some Crystal Palace reaction. Joel Ward now with Greg Whelan.
Joel, just how good a result was this from your perspective?
I think you've got to take the positives. Obviously a clean sheet against the top side. It's always going to be a tough game against Newcastle with the way they are. And the way they play and the form that they're in. So I think it was a great point and something to build on.
What was the thinking going into it? How were you looking to make things difficult for Newcastle?
I think obviously they possess a lot of threats, so we firstly had to nullify that as a team from front to back, and then we wanted to try and exploit the spaces that they would leave when they kind of push players forward. But obviously it makes it difficult, and games don't always go the way you want them to go, and things don't always happen. But I feel like we, as a team, created a couple of chances and defended really well as a unit.
Pleased to go in at half-time because Newcastle had looked really strong in that first half.
Yeah, I think obviously some games, you got your back up against the ropes, and it takes a lot of character to continue and make sure that you don't concede. And we done that today as a unit from front to back, and we made it difficult. And I think even set plays and what have you, they had a lot of balls where they've put into the box, and obviously from the size of them you see their threat, so it was good that we saw things out.
They had the better chances overall, but Mateta might have won it for you.
Yeah, we had a chance at the end there. When it comes in on another day, he gets on it and sticks it in the back of the net. But we go away with the point in the right direction, and take the positives from the game and build on it.
Today, yet another illustration of the character within this Crystal Palace team, do you feel?
Yeah, definitely. I think we haven't always got the results that we wanted this season. And I think today was a great example of our togetherness and resilience when you're under pressure to make sure that you come away with something.
With the fixtures you've got coming up now, what value do you place on two hard-fought draws against two top teams in this division?
Listen, I think this week anyone would look on paper and say it's a very tough week that we've had. So I think to come away with the last two results is brilliant, and obviously, like I said, we can hopefully take that momentum into the next couple of games.
Joel, appreciate your time.
Cheers, thank you.
And that point tonight moves them 7 clear of the bottom 3. Is that the way they have to look at this tonight, Jimmy? Is a real positive for them?
Yeah, it's real positive to get something out of the game today. They didn't deserve it. I thought the energy levels were really low. I think you could see that it was the 3rd game in a row in a short spell of time, even though he made 4 changes. They were second in all duels, in every aspect of the game. They sometimes press, but they press in ones and twos, and the gaps are so big. I expected a lot more from Zaha and from Esse today. They couldn't get it going. So for them to get a point, it's a big point.
You go about it a different way, do you, when you go to Manchester United, potentially without Zaha?
Yeah, I just think that with Zaha, it's a trade-off. What he gives you going forward to what he doesn't give you defensively. We've talked about it with Trent. What he can give you 2 assists, but he can cost you 2 goals. With someone coming in and replacing Zaha, you're going to have everyone defending for one cause.
You're saying Trippier was overlapping and Zaha let him go. I think they've done that on purpose, Palace. They are backing that, I think, their midfielder to take over, and Zaha then can counter-attack. But it didn't work today. It didn't work. And I agree with you, Kieran. I think it might be a good thing for now to be a little bit more solid, Zaha not playing, and maybe go a little bit more on a defensive route, than instead of Zaha being there and everybody thinking that he's going to create something or whatsoever, and it doesn't happen.
Because I thought all the subs that Vieira made impacted the team in a real positive. I thought, obviously, Ward coming off, he was on his last legs, and we thought when St Maximin was going to be going at him one-on-one, cool, this could be trouble, but he brought on Klein, and obviously we were touching on Elise before the game.
Mateta almost scored.
Yeah, so the subs had a real impact, and give some food for thought for Vieira.
Yeah.
Look forward to hearing what Patrick Vieira has to say himself.
How decent a point was that in the end against a strong Newcastle side?
Yeah, against a really strong Newcastle side, and we needed to battle, to compete, and that's what we did, and we take the points that we deserve.
Probably fair to say that you were second best in the first half. What did you want to see more of from your team in the second?
I think we it was really difficult for us to play from the back because it was putting a lot of pressure on ourselves, and every time we went long, we didn't manage to win that second ball and keep the ball on the floor and manage to have like 3-4 passes. We managed to win the ball, but we lose it straight away after, and we started to lose our confidence, and it was really difficult for us to play. But today it was all about stick together, fighting, competing, because if we are not matching that level of competitiveness, it will be tough for us to win the game. So we work hard today. We show the other side of the game, and we show what we needed to show today. So taking the points is good, and I'm pleased with what the team, what we showed today.
You said before the game you'd make 1 or 2 chances. It would be a case of whether you can take them. How good a chance did Chris Richards have just before half-time?
You know, all the keepers that we faced lately been really, really good. But when you create opportunities, chances, one day or the other, we will score.
Bearing in mind the fixtures now you still have to come, how do you assess this last week, particularly picking up a hard-earned point against United and now this one on the back of it?
Yeah, we managed to get points against those 2 big teams who play for Champions League football. But, you know, we have to fight. We have to be brave. We have to play better football. But at the same time, I think what we've been showing is as well that, you know, we will need a couple of players to help us to be more competitive. So there's still 10 days to go, and hopefully we will bring those couple of players to help the teams to be more stronger.
How likely do you feel you're able to do that with the time that remains?
No, I think you know, everything is in the chairman's hand. We identify the profiles and the names, and now we have to try to make it happen. It's not going to be easy because that window is always challenging and is always tough. But I really hope that we will bring players because we need more support and more help on that side.
One downside today, the injury to Wilf Zaha. Yeah. With those fixtures coming up, how concerning is that?
We have to wait for more exam and see what is the nature of the injuries. But Wilfried, when he's carrying off like that on the field, is not a good news because he never injured. He's always on the field. He's always working for the team. And to see him coming off doesn't look good.
We wish him all the best. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
But it is a point more in the right direction. 24 from their 20 games so far, significantly. 7 clear of the bottom 3, and they'll be hoping they can really stay out of that mess. It is so tight down there, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 teams there from Leicester downwards, separated by just 3 points. And interestingly, this time of year, our reporters go into battle with these Premier League managers or managers at any level and try and ask them if they're going to go into the transfer market. Are they going to try and sign players? Didn't have to this time. Patrick was volunteering the information that he wanted new players, the kind of interview that Jimmy used to give every week in his last job. Begging bowl in hand, Jimmy, isn't he? I mean, what do you think he needs right now? Is it apparent to you that he does need some help?
Yeah, he needs some more energy. Last year they had Gallagher, who gave them a lot of energy. Now that is very difficult to replace, but they've lost that energy. And tonight you could see that, even though they were fighting, as what Patrick was saying, and they were sticking together. You need that little bit more of energy, especially, you know, in the Premier League.
Worth pointing out as well tonight, they're without. He talked, Patrick Vieira, about the problems they had creating from the back, build up from the back, and Joachim Andersen has been so key at that. One of their best distributors, well, one of the best from the Premier League in that position. Where might they get help? What positions do you think need a bit of work right now for them?
I just think they need a good spine of the team. I think the centre halves is fine, but a real dominant midfielder and a real number 9 that can score goals, 10 plus goals in the Premier League.
So expensive though, isn't it?
Yeah. That's the problem. And I think Vieira's interview was so refreshing. It was brilliant. He showed how adaptable he is as a manager. Yes, we all want to play pretty football, but listen, it's about getting the second balls, trying to get us up the pitch, and I think he showed a message today by bringing on the young kid for his debut. Obviously got a young kid playing at centre-half.
Who did brilliantly.
Yeah, brilliant, but he's playing them all to say, look, I'll play these kids, but we need help.
21 players he's used this season. That's the joint fewest of any team in the Premier League. And for context, since he came into the job, they've spent £120 million, Crystal Palace, and Newcastle have spent double that.
Yeah, but he knows what kind of job Crystal Palace is. You know, Crystal Palace are never going to compete with the Newcastles, or they need to do it a different way. He knows that. But then on the other hand, in their structure, he needs to find the right talent, and obviously they have identified a couple. It's now to the club to go and you know, put that to something that they can come through the door.
And important. Scott Parker lost his job for coming out in question saying we need help with his owners, so he obviously did it in a lot.
That was after a 9-0, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a lot more aggressive, but it's brave for a manager to start putting it on to owners of football clubs.
Well, there is an important 10 days ahead, that is for sure, for Crystal Palace and perhaps for Newcastle as well. Here is Eddie Howe with Greg Whelan.
Eddie, you expected a battle here at Selhurst Park. How did you see this one in the end?
Yeah, very difficult game. It always is here. I thought we played very well today. I thought we were good with the ball. We dominated for long spells. We got into dangerous positions. We did create chances. We just couldn't put the ball in the net.
Should you have had something to show particularly for your first half performance, did you feel?
Yeah, I think there was moments in both halves for us. I think if there's a team that was going to win that, I think it was going to be us. But in saying that, you have to credit Nick Pope for an incredible save towards the end of the game, and he's been excellent since he's come in, and he didn't have a lot to do today, but that one moment really stood out, and we're just disappointed. The changing room's disappointed that we weren't able to win.
What a save it was as well.
Yeah, it was a great save. You know, it's hit with such power, close range. He's got a strong right hand to it, and it doesn't surprise us because we see it on a regular basis every day. But you know, they're big moments in games, and as I say, he wasn't stretched in the game, but that was the moment we needed him.
Seeing how tight the game was panning out, how did you try and affect things going into the second half? Did you try and tweak anything at all?
Well, we did. Yeah, we wanted to play with a little bit more control and a little bit more desire to get bodies in the box. Now, there were some moments, some balls flashed across the box late in the game. We were disappointed we didn't have someone on the end of it. So there's stuff to improve for us. Naturally, there's going to be, but we're seeing continued improvement, I feel, every week.
Your defensive stats at the moment are excellent, but is there any concern on your part that that's just the 1 goal in 4 now?
Yeah, I think naturally there's always components of your team that, excuse me, don't fire together. And at the moment we're not firing in front of goal as maybe we'd like to, but you know, we're working on that all the time.
On the plus side, you said you didn't focus on it going into this game, but that is 15 Premier League games unbeaten now. Is that something as a manager you can take pride in, and what credit do they deserve for it?
Great pride in it, because it's the hardest league in the world, and if you're off it slightly in a game, 5%, 10%, you usually get beaten. So for the players to consistently hit the levels of performance needed to win games and not get beaten in games, I think they deserve a lot of credit.
It's a hard-earned point, and now along comes a major semi-final, Newcastle's first in almost 2 decades. With what sort of momentum do you feel you're going into that now?
Positive. I think everything's positive currently, and if that's not the feeling, then there's something wrong in our position. So we're enjoying what we're doing. We're looking forward to the challenge ahead against Southampton. It's going to be 2 very difficult games, but hopefully we can really enjoy it and do our best.
Eddie, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Well, they're back into 3rd place again, and let's just stop there for a moment, Kieran. I mean, how exciting is it to be a Newcastle fan right now?
Yep, going for Champions League football, semi-final of a cup with maybe a final to look forward to. I went up there a couple of months ago for the Chelsea home game. Just went as a fan, and I couldn't believe it was just like the days of Sir Bobby Robson and Kevin Keegan, and like I said, all credit to everyone involved with Newcastle, and the fans have got a club that they love again, and you can sense that.
How confident are you that Newcastle stay in that top 4 for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I'm very confident, just because I think Tottenham are 2 hit and miss at the moment, and Liverpool and Chelsea are in massive transition at the moment. So in usual seasons, we'd have Liverpool and Chelsea up there, and it would be very hard for Newcastle. But for me, it's all in Newcastle's hands, and I thoroughly expect them to come into the top 4.
Do you agree, Jimmy?
Yeah, it's there to lose. You know, it's actually refreshing to see them there, and also the way that they're playing. They deserve all of it. I think Chelsea is in a transition. Liverpool. The thing is with Liverpool, they can go 10 games unbeaten, you know, as they have done in the previous years. So Liverpool, for me, have a bigger chance than Chelsea to catch them. But look, if they can keep on getting those clean sheets, they will score goals and they will win matches. And it's, for me, it's there to lose for them.
And you can see that this unbeaten record just stretches on and on since August to 15 unbeaten, and it puts Eddie Howe out in front. The proud owner of this record now, the longest unbeaten Premier League run of any English manager this century, overtaking Alan Pardew's 14 as Newcastle manager. But as Kieran says, really, you have to go back 20 years almost for the be this good to be a Newcastle fan. Those great teams under Kevin Keegan and Sir Bobby Robson challenging and playing in Champions League football, in cup competitions, cup semi-finals and finals as well. And if they do finish in the top 4, does that accelerate this building process for this football club with this backing, do you think?
100%. I think he touched on it when he lost in the FA Cup, saying about the depth of the squad. If you're there getting in the Champions League and you're trying to compete on 4 different fronts with the fans, how demanding they are, with the owners, with the riches that they have, then I think the recruitment will ramp up and we'll be seeing some real world-class calibre players, which is very exciting.
Exciting for Newcastle and terrifying for everybody else.